Stix.
Legendary interview.
Yeah, right?
This is legendary.
You can tell already.
I already feel it. You got the light shining on the right side.
It's a nice setup, isn't it?
It's like amazing.
We've got the positive message on the wall there.
Support your local artists, no matter where they're from.
I'm hungry, you've been fed.
I've actually just ate some fried, I don't know why I want to say cauliflower so bad. I may have to get that. A zucchini.
It was zucchini, right?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from? And is it, well, don't say it unless it's worth shouting out. If it didn't taste that good, just say I can't
You know
remember.
what? The owner is really cool. Julie's Goes Green. It's like right around the corner from here, kind of.
Really?
Actually.
How far, man? Because look, you know what? I'm not like an exclusive vegan.
It's like 7 minutes away from here.
All right, but I need some spots. I need some recommendations.
Fire. You ready to convert?
Yeah, look, mate. I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I do. I try. So what I've got, like, here's how I live my life at the minute. I don't cook meat at home. I like or dairy. So when I'm cooking at home, it's all vegan. But I never cook at home. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I cook at home a lot, man. So I don't cook meat at home. But if I order Postmates or go out, then quite often I'm lured into the dark side.
Here's the thing. I'm about to kick some crazy deep science to you.
I want it, mate.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. So do you believe in the universal balance of plus and minus?
Yeah.
Right. All right.
Already crazy, because that's where I wanted to kick this off. No shit.
Oh, for real?
For real.
Fire. Perfect segue.
Because I saw something on your Instagram like a few months ago that stuck with me that's about polarity. But please,
exactly.
Please
polarity.
Continue.
All right. So if we believe in that, right? We believe in plus and minus.
Yeah.
We are, let's just consider us the plus, right? We're meat. We're flesh. We're actually doing plus and plus if we're eating animals. We're not connected to the universal balance by eating meat. So us consuming plants and vegetables, that's the minus. And that's where the power, that's where the charge comes from. And I strongly believe that it's supposed to be like that. Obviously, we have free will and the choice to do whatever we want. But in order to tap into that, Deepak Chopra calls it the full potentiality.
Yeah, right.
Of greatness. In order to tap into that, you have to identify all of these plus and minus universal scientific laws.
And then maybe these, like universal scientific laws, something that at one point we just would have, as humans a long time ago, we would have just intrinsically understood. And now we kind of lost our way.
100%.
Yeah.
And so, because we have this free will, what they call, to do whatever we want, we kind of move further and further away from that full potentiality of greatness. And not saying you can't be great if you eat meat. I mean, that's wild. But you have the ability to unlock some wild, polarizing things that's within you if you start applying all these scientific laws to your consciousness and your existence. So a lot of that has to do with why I'm vegan today.
And how long have you been vegan for?
I think me and my family, we've been vegan for maybe about somewhere between 4 to 6 years, somewhere in between that.
Yeah.
Can't really remember, but somewhere in between that.
Yeah.
Strong, the whole family, the wife, the kids, everybody.
Really?
Yeah.
And were you and your wife like together, you were like, let's do this?
No, my wife was actually a pescatarian first, and I was like, this day I was killing some Wingstop. I was killing Wingstop at the crib.
Please tell me it wasn't boneless.
It was. What's up, man? Like, you know what? That's a crazy thing. That's like a battle today, like boneless versus bone in versus bone out.
I just don't understand how anyone can call that boneless. Right, so the first time I went to Wingstop, which was like only a matter of months ago.
And, wow, are you serious?
Yeah. Less than a year ago, right? Yeah.
Wow.
But I've only lived there for 2 years this time. But anyway, I get taken to Wingstop by Ryan, who used to work here. And he recommended the boneless wings. And I'm like, boneless wings? That sounds amazing, man. Like, it's going to be a normal wing and they've just pulled the bone out. Like, that's brilliant. You know, who wants to deal with the bone? So I ordered them. But they were just these, like, dry chicken nuggets. No?
You didn't get like buffalo or like.
Yeah, I did, but I'm saying like it just seemed like a nugget to me. Not like I didn't understand how.
Why call it a boneless wing?
Yeah,
just
why?
call it a chicken nugget.
Just call it a chicken nugget, and I'll know not to order it, and I'll get the wings, and everyone's happy. But mate, I've completely derailed the conversation, which was moving steadily in a spiritual direction.
No, that's incredible. I love it. That's incredible. I mean, there's science to that. I mean, you know, why does all humans have bones? Why does this chicken not have a bone?
Because people want to eat the boneless wings. But bro, so you were literally murdering the
wing stop.
Yeah.
And
your wife was on
the
fish.
She's already pescatarian.
Yeah.
And she's like, you know what? I'm concerned with your health and you're getting older. And I'm like, I'm like 160 something pounds at best. Like I feel great.
Yeah.
But, there's nothing wrong with being concerned with health, right? So she's like, what can we do dietary, And we end up watching this documentary called What the Health together.
Yeah.
And that's when it first opened my eyes to, like, the world of food. And I was like, there's a lot of interesting information in this.
Yeah.
And it was completely disgusting. But then I was like, let me do some more research because I don't really that's like listening to what somebody say and just doing it because they told you.
Yeah, right.
So I did a lot of research and a lot of it held up about like carcinogens and, things that cause cancer and how a lot of meat that we consume is a factor to like diabetes and cancer and all of these different things, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, especially in the black community, And so when I did the research behind it, I was like, I was like, you know what? I'm done. No more meat. No more dairy. No nothing. Cold turkey.
Straight up.
Just cut it out.
Straight up. And you didn't waver.
Never backslided. Never. Not one time.
So why, bro, okay, I look up to you in a lot of ways. Why is it that when you watched that fucking documentary, you were done for 6 years, 4 to 6 years? When I watched that same thing and I was done for 2 months and then straight back on the meat. I'm serious.
I'm like a diehard, committed, like, fool in a good way. Once I commit to something, I don't backslide. Like, I don't waver. That's probably why I've been faithfully married for 8 years. And
you're all in.
And been with my wife for right around 15 years. Just straight committed. No bullshit, no BS, no nothing. And,
mate, I just split up with my girlfriend as well, and I couldn't hold down being vegan. So you're making me look bad there, man. He's like, yeah, I'm vegan for life.
You know what I mean?
Committed relationship for life.
Once I say I'm going to do something, I need to do it. I need to complete it. I need to finish it. I don't feel right. I can't sleep if I'm like not executing what I say I want to execute. It's just in me, Do you ever feel, because a big part of the reason, and this is probably important, a big part of the reason that I still eat meat, even though I think I'm probably on a very similar wavelength with like everything you're saying about why it's not the greatest idea, is addiction, is like a meat addiction. And did you ever have that? Did you ever feel like you were just habitually eating wings and like? I think addiction is a mental thing.
I mean, yeah, I agree with that.
We have control. Some people don't, but I feel like we have a nice range of control over our actions, right? Mentally. There are things that are created that is addictive because of the elements that it has that produces it, right? They say like Coca-Cola. The reason why Coca-Cola was made with like a coca leaf or something like that. They have elements of cocaine in the soda, and that's why it's addictive. Or nicotine, rather, is addictive. Or caffeine. All of these things fall in the same realm, but I feel like we have the willpower and the strength to just go, I don't want to do it no more. But we have to know that exists. We have to have that elevated consciousness, in order to be able to make those decisions for ourselves.
Yeah.
When you think that you can be controlled, you will be controlled.
Right.
But when you have the ideals or mantra that you can control everything that's around you, then you will. So I just feel like it's a matter of a mental adjustment in regards to anything. It could be cigarettes, it could be chicken, it could be, girls or men or whatever it is that you have. You can pretty much build boundaries around your desires, because it's really a desire. It's not really an addiction. It's a desire to want or to get something. But you just got to eliminate those desires and build those boundaries around it, and then you could change it.
Yeah, I agree with that, mate. And I think you're totally right. You do have the power to make those like amendments to your life, because people do it. You did it. I've done it, with certain things. So yeah, it does happen.
Absolutely.
But so the vegan thing then, what's like, but when we're talking about polarities, positive and negative, and meat may be like tipping that balance. What do you think it like? Can we unpack that a little bit about, Stix as a meat eater versus Stix as a vegan, and how that might have, like, obviously we could think of it in a kind of like physical way, your physical body, but it sounds like, you're talking about like mentally and state of mind, and just kind of like maybe even your energy as well.
Supreme consciousness it's not something everybody talks about or understands that exists. There's the art of manifestation. There is speaking things into existence. It's a real thing. There's studies that proves that it actually is real. By
the way, this is all I want to talk about for like an hour plus, as much as possible. But right. Sorry, mate.
No, you're good. It is something that I've studied. I've read a lot of books about. One being the power of the subconscious mind, and there's these realms that exist. And there's the subconscious, and then there's the conscious. And then there's the universe who just responds to that consciousness, or it responds to the subconscious that gets directed by the conscious. And once you understand that, you have the ability to control everything around you. You can make things happen. And when we talk about like Stix the vegan, and we talk about the things Stix does in regards to music or just community or whatever, it always has a element of that science, right? For instance, let's take artists who release music, and this even relates to the current President of the United States. The President of the United States, or the team that he works with, understands the law of polarity at the highest level, because they know how to get the reaction from the people based on these principles. Now, what I mean by that is there is high arousal, is what we call it. There's arousals. There's high arousal positivity and high arousal negativity, right? And they know that if they can apply high arousal negativity, the people who are positive will respond to that, and it creates this explosion, right? That's the same thing. Kind of that I try to adopt with just life. I just look at it as plus and minus versus positive and negative, even though it kind of means the same thing. So with everything in life, I'm a huge positive charge. I try to add a lot of positive plus frequency, but I come from a territory that has a lot of negative charge, right? A lot of negative narrative, a lot of negative, everything. So if I bring my element to that element, we create polarity. We create the plus and minus. That's the power. Not to mention what watts means. It means power. It's wattage.
Oh, yeah, wow.
The tower, it's electricity. It's all of those different things.
I was going to ask you about the tower.
Yeah.
Is that just because it's Watts? Is there a tower in Watts?
It's actually the Watts Towers.
Oh, there is
Watts.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, mate, I'm a foreigner, so I don't really know that. No, that's sick.
And just adding more layers to it, the reason why the tower is on the hat is because it's power to the mind.
Yeah, right.
I'm sending power frequencies to my mind. That's why I'm always wearing a hat. That's why I'm easy for me to articulate. It's easy for me to be able to deliver the messages I want to deliver, because I'm channeling frequencies that are in the universe directly to my mind. And all of this, without sounding too deep and going all off into the
You're not, mate. I love it.
Dimension X.
Yeah.
I like to channel all of these scientific laws in order to deliver everything that I'm delivering. So I will always lean towards areas where I see, oh, there's a huge negative charge.
Wow.
I'm going to head over here because I know my impact will be greater over here. Now, if there's something that's already a positive charge, I try to figure out what's that negative element that I need to bring.
Like disruptive element.
Exactly.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
To create the polarity. Because that's the only way we're going to, it's like a car, but like I said it in the interview, it's the car battery.
Yeah.
You hook it up, 2 pluses, it doesn't start. 2 minuses, it doesn't start. Plus and minus, the car starts up.
Yeah.
Like you have to have both in order to create existence.
What I think is so incredible about this, and as I said, like that kind of resonated with me when I saw that interview, and you're talking about Nipsey Hussle. I can't remember what you're on, but I was just, I'd just been listening, I think, to Alan Watts, funnily enough, Watts, and he's talking about yin and yang. Yeah. Same thing, positive, negative, and you know, and how positive, negative is really, it's the same thing. It's two sides of the same thing. And, you know, as you're saying, it's like, you know, from a computer, ones and zeros to like any aspect of life, night, day, life, death.
Left, right, up, down, in, out.
Yeah. You cannot have one without the other, and the two are beautiful together. But what's incredible about what you're saying is I think the vast majority of people operate under the assumption that you've got to run away from the negative. You've got to deny the negative. There's nothing beautiful about the negative. You know, there's nothing beautiful about death, about kind of chaos. And I think that's where a lot of people can fall down, because you're denying reality, you know, and you're trying to live a life where it's all, the trajectory is always up. It's complete utopia. It's always daytime.
It's impossible.
It's impossible. So I think what you're saying there, man, even now, I'm like, fucking yes, mate. That's exactly it, because it's a complete, it's acceptance and embracing the present, how it actually is.
I'm not telling people to go do negative things.
Of course not, yeah.
But when negative things occur, you just understand that that's the balance. You can't have all of this magnificent stuff happen to you in your life and expect it to remain like that. There's no balance in that. That's not how the world works. Even the earth has a night and a day.
Yeah.
It has a plus and a minus.
Yeah. And even if we eliminated, and even if we formed some kind of like social utopia where no like human on human crazy shit was happening, you're still always going to have natural death and disease, earthquakes. You know?
Always.
And again, not saying like when there's an earthquake, let's all be like, oh wow,
yeah,
beautiful.
Great, yay.
But just having that, there was a guy from Soul Action, Andres, who was on before, and we were talking about, you know, becoming a person that has the ability to create a little bit of space between yourself and just crazy shit that's going on, so that you can kind of move forward and operate with some kind of clarity, rather than operating out of like pure anger, despair, depression, you know. So I think it's a similar thing there. It definitely helps me, you know, like, and I'm subscribing to so much of the stuff that you're saying, just allowing me and, you know, anyone else, and right now the time we're living in it's a perfect example of how occurrences around you can just beat the shit out of you, no matter who you
100%.
are, just get you so dragged down. And again, I think, you know, there's so many examples even now of people who are so closely affected by all the crazy injustices, police brutality, you know, whatever it might be that are going on, that are still like managing to act out some kind of like strength. And you're 100% one of them with like your community work and everything.
Oh, for sure.
Doing.
Mm-hmm.
But
it's you know, let's just talk about that for a second. Police brutality and things like that, and as crazy as it sounds, I see it as opportunity to bring the positive charge, to create change. Everyone's upset, and everyone should be upset. You want to burn something down? I don't blame you. It makes you want to burn stuff down.
Yeah.
And you need complete anarchy and chaos to happen in order to get the utopia, right? So we have to experience that. We can't ignore that needs to happen. But also, there has to be someone who can articulate what the utopia looks like. You got to come with that charge. While all of this negative is going, you got to have the balance. You got to bring the other side. Because there's so much, the more chaos, the more anarchy, the bigger the charge.
Right.
Which means if you come with the actual solution, while this is happening, the bigger the change.
Yeah, yeah.
The size of the negative is the size of the positive. The size of the positive is the size of the negative. It's not like you'll get a little bit here and a lot of this. No, it matches.
Yeah.
There's always a balance. That's the yin and the yang. I think that's in Taoism is what they study.
Yeah.
Is what they believe in.
And that's the power. As you're saying, that's the car battery.
Mm-hmm.
The negative energy, and then you can bring the
It's
positive.
always equal. It's never more than the other.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, man. I mean, I completely on board with that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's incredible. And so just moving on then to talk a little bit about like community and what you're doing in Watts, because we were talking about the tower. So Watts, you were born and raised in Watts?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Since forever.
Yeah. So how early then? Because again, like, would you describe yourself as kind of like, how do you describe when you're articulating what we just talked about there, which to me, and this word like kind of gets a bit of stigma, spirituality, but you know, that's the word I use.
Fine.
It's
I
like
love
we're
it.
talking about spirituality. Like, when were you exposed to that? Like, what were you like as a kid? Because, you know, as I'm kind of, I mean, I've lived here for a little while and I know about Watts, and I know that part of the reason, as we've just discovered, that you do so much work in there is because there has been or continues to be so much negative charge for you to you know, apply your positive charge.
Right.
But I'm guessing that when you were a kid, you were exposed to that, probably engulfed in that, maybe, you know, maybe even causing a negative charge yourself. Like, what's the story there? I
mean, before I left, my wife there was something that happened at the house, and I'll get back to the original point. Yesterday.
Right.
Somebody got shot, like, right outside our house. And they were just laid out on the ground. And then their car was like in someone else's house because I guess the car spun out or whatever. And, you know, my wife was talking about someone she was talking to, and she was explaining to them like, yo, you know, our lives are just different. Like, I just seen somebody laid out on the ground from being shot yesterday, and somebody else kind of thought they were relating to her. When it just was completely not relatable. And what she said, she was like, yo, my husband has been shot at multiple times, which I have, right? In Watts, I probably can count on two, hopefully not, almost two full hands, how many times I've been like shot at and seen like death from a gunshot, from gunfire, you know? So I've been exposed to a lot of that element. A lot of that is you almost become immune to it, to where, oh, somebody laid out on the ground, that's nothing. But that's like trauma. Like, that's terrible. That's a mental mechanism convincing yourself that this is normal.
Yeah, wow. Yeah.
But
desensitized to it, but obviously it's still kind of like
it's
messing you up.
It's ridiculous nobody should see someone laid out on the ground from a gunshot.
Yeah, right.
Right? A regular citizen. But it definitely, I have a lot of experience just around that element. And it just, what got me to where I am today consciously, when at a very young age, my mom was a Christian, like Baptist Christian, like church, Jesus. And I think it was around the time I read the Bible maybe about 4 times cover to cover from beginning to end.
Well, when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Because you wanted to?
I just wanted to know. Like, why is this Jesus guy so popular? Like, what's going on? And, I went to church a few times as a kid because I was forced to.
What did you think of church?
I mean, at the time, I just thought it was what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
Because that's what Mom said, and all my cousins were at church. And, we get dressed in our favorite Sunday best, and we fly from head to toe, and we dance and stuff for a while. But we moving forward, I think I was around 14 is when I became conscious of the Nation of Islam. I said, there's a bunch of people who look like me that's a part of this. Let me get into this and see what this is about. So then immediately I became privy to Malcolm X. And I read the autobiography of Malcolm X and kind of seen the movie that came out and that Spike Lee did. And it taught me a lot about Islam from the Nation of Islam perspective. Elijah Muhammad and Farad Muhammad, what they brought to to life. And I was like, it made me challenge a lot of things that was in the Bible.
Yeah, of course.
And so I'm like, I would like talk to my mom like, all of this is fake. Like, this isn't real. Look, this is the real thing. And my mom would get mad at me and like tell me get out of the room because she didn't want to hear that. And so my father, he was part of the Nation of Islam, like devoted, like true through and through. And then,
but your mother and father like weren't together.
And they wasn't together.
Yeah,
no,
right.
I didn't really build a relationship with my pops until like my 20s.
Yeah.
So I started to understand more of that. So as I got older, I think right around when I was about 22, there's a gentleman by the name of DK, we call him. And DK was a part of Moorish Science Temple. So he exposed me to this way of life. They believe in the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. The Nation of Islam got their teachings from the Moorish Science Temple.
Oh, right.
So Farad Muhammad and Elijah Muhammad went to the same temple that Drew Ali went to. And if you look at the Nation of Islam symbol, the crest and the star and everything is just flipped around. So They have the same symbolism. And I was like, what's going on here? Which one is real? But they both have some very good information. So,
but are they kind of like, are they opposed to each other a little bit, or are they?
In scripture or in reading, no.
Yeah.
But here's the twist. The Moorish Quran pulls a lot of information from almost like the Bible. It talks a lot about Jesus, but it doesn't it basically covers the teachings that wasn't in the Bible, that they took out of the Bible, whoever they is. And we may be referring to the 7 ecumenical councils of Nicaea, which is a whole nother conversation. So because I started to see this, I was like, wait, so Moorish science actually talks about a little bit more, they're a little bit more in detail about how you should be as a person. And they have the principles in the back of their Quran, because they call theirs a Quran too, spelled with a K. And it kind of has the duties of a husband, the duties of a mother and father, gratitude and charity and all of these different things. And I looked at that and was like, wow, this is like giving you instructions on what type of person you should be to society. And it makes you aware of your weaknesses and instability and inconstancy and all of these different things. And I was like, oh, this is fire.
Yeah.
Then it kind of breaks down an origin of where we come from. Because the big controversy of black people is there's no such thing as black people. Like, color is not a nationality. It's a color. So the question is, as Americans, where is our ancestry? Where do we come from? So more science kind of shows that in the beginning of the beginning, that the Bible speaks of the ancient Moabites and Canaanites and all of this stuff. This all comes from where we see it as Morocco. That's why they're called Moabites.
Yeah.
So this is before Morocco was a term. This is where everyone came from, originated. And that's
like literally everyone.
Everyone.
Right? Everyone.
Yeah. So because of that, I started to read all of this stuff, but it's pulling from the Bible, but Nation of Islam, but they came from the temple that they...
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm just finna study everything. So then I studied Taoism next. And I learned about the yin and the yang. Then I studied Buddhism. Then I studied Hinduism. Then I studied the principles of Mayat. Then I studied ancient Kemet. Then I studied Hebrew Israelites. Then I studied Judaism. Then I just studied everything, just read. Information. And then I came across, The Secret.
Yeah.
Right? And then I was like, interesting. But then I started reading books like The Art of Seduction, and then you got these 48 Laws of Power, and there's these different books. But then I would read other books like The Tipping Point and Outliers, and I will come back to the power of the subconscious mind and how the mind works and neurology and study how the brain works and all of this stuff. And I was like, yo, at the end of the day, everything is saying the same thing, and it's focusing on, hey, guess what? There's some creative spirit that created all of this that exists. There's something that created us and everything else. However, you have a choice to either live like this or live like this. However, no matter what you do, both will exist.
Yeah.
And there's no way around it. Whatever you want, ask for it, and eventually it'll come to you by way of effort and work. But you can plant that seed, and then you can achieve it. That's what I learned in all of this stuff.
Incredible. I love listening to that. And so, clearly you don't at the minute, you're just a kind of lover of ideas. And so therefore, you're not following any particular religion.
No.
So what is it, do you think, that makes, and maybe it comes back to this kind of like addiction question, why some people feel they need to, constantly come back to a scenario or a thing or a person that might not necessarily be just a straight up physical withdrawal addiction. You feel like you need this thing for support. I see a correlation between that idea and like religion, how people will be like, nope, not listening. It's this one. This God is this God's the correct God. The other 300,000 gods are all made up. They're wrong. This one's the right one. And, and how that can be kind of dangerous, because obviously people get very sensitive,
of course,
over their religion. And maybe that's also echoed into like the political realm as well, where...
I mean, it's all related.
It's all related,
Religion
right?
was created to govern and control people.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Religion was created to govern, to keep people... Not saying that everything about religion is just about these factors, but a huge piece is to take a mass of people, impose a type of punishment,
right,
if you don't follow this law.
Yeah.
Which all of this is created by man, or maybe women too. They always say it's just man. It's like, you telling me no women were doing anything around this time? It was just man. So how were babies? I don't know. I'm just being respectful of everybody's preference. But
yeah.
I truly believe that there were men and women around this time who had some significant power over a large group of people. But there were also people who were rebellious to law. And so they had to create this method of this God who will bring all types of hell and brimstone to you if you don't follow this particular thing.
Yeah.
And if you believe think about what it says. It says, oh, if you follow anything else, you're going to hell. That right there just sounds crazy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, if you believe in anything else, you're going to die. So it's not very difficult to impose fear. It's not very difficult to convince someone that they're going to die if they don't do this thing. Social media does it every day. And
Yeah,
that's
of course.
just social media.
Yeah, right.
So imagine, I think it was one of many tactics to control a majority of people. And they succeeded, depending on what region you were from. Like I said, it is said that the 7 ecumenical councils of Nicaea is who created all religion. Christianity, Islam, and I mean Orthodox Islam. Like that's like Mecca and, you know,
and really,
in
like,
the Middle East.
Just pulled that kind of out of thin air, because I've also read some things that are like, you know, once upon a time, all ancient religions were just like beautiful metaphors for a way of life, and that then like got hijacked.
Well, yeah,
know,
I mean, we can go all the way back to ancient Kemet, right?
Yeah.
There's something called the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the Book of the Dead is what they call them too. And it said that this is where they got the idea of Jesus in the Bible. There was a figure named Horus that was in the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Right.
And this Horus character is who Jesus is, right? There is a lot of other characters within the Dead Sea Scrolls that mimic like Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And it's like, oh, this is where they got this from. You know, like I said, no one really knows. We wasn't alive when these scriptures or manuscripts was written, but there's a lot of kind of evidence that kind of try to prove that, oh, this is where it comes from.
Yeah.
And there were studies and researches that show that, you know, we can go all the way back to like the sun god and Ra, and that's where we get sun, you know. From.
Don't piss off the sun god.
Right, exactly. There's all of these different things, but at the end of the day, the sun was created by something.
Yeah, right.
I don't know, but
what do you think?
I believe in that there is a God.
Yeah, what's your, like, because I've seen, you know, you refer to like a higher power, and I consider myself someone who believes in God. It just depends on your definition
Absolutely.
of God.
God
I'm not
many
religious in any way.
God has many names, like he's Thoth, he's Zeus, he's Parabrahm, he's Jesus, he's Allah, he's
the universe.
You know, it's so many different names, but I do believe in that existence, because there's not, like, I look at the ocean, just the ocean, I'm like, how the fuck?
Dude, I do that the whole time, man. Like,
how?
But sometimes it's
water. Just think of it, water.
Yeah, I like mind fuck myself though, and I'm like, I'm looking up at the sun, not directly. Don't do that.
No,
somewhere around, but I'm like, the sun's there, I can feel it, and I'm like, really, that ball of that kind of never-ending,
it's there
burning
forever.
ball is just there, perfectly placed, and we're kind of moving round at a steady rate, and we all go to bed like just taking for granted that everything will be right where we left it tomorrow. I'm like, nah, this is beyond
anything that we could fathom or think of. That's how I know there's
it's too perfect, isn't it?
That's how I know there's a higher power.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, I believe in God. I call him what I want to call him. It's my homie, so.
But
our
also,
home girl.
Yeah.
Or one day it's a girl, one day it's a guy, one day it's a universe, one day, like, it
can be anything.
It could be anything.
But like, what I love, man, is then when we're talking about the way that you will live your life and how that kind of plays into your beliefs. And I'm with you. There's an undeniable connection between, as you're saying, like, you know, the polarities, the energies, the positive, the negative, attracting and manifesting. It's for me, it's like completely undeniable that you know, life is a kind of measurable energy, and thoughts are too. And I guess that's what we're saying. Like, thoughts and feelings play into that measurable energy that has weight. And you know, the way you think and the way you feel has an impact on the way you carry yourself, which has an impact on life and what happens to you.
I mean, think about it. The human body is made up of plus and minus of atoms, What are atoms? Plus and minus particles. We already have it within us. We're created with plus and minus particles. This is kind of the reason why you ever been in a place and you feel something sketchy is about to happen, and you're like, nah, I don't feel right here.
Yeah.
Or this guy or this girl something's not right about them. I'm just gonna get up out of here. That's because that's the energy that they're carrying because of this charge. So we're not feeling it because we're scientifically made to react.
Yeah.
To this energy.
Because
if
something's going to happen, that doesn't just come straight out of nowhere. Mm-mm. Okay, say a guy's going to hit you. Mm-hmm. He's not there just like cool and calm for the seconds or maybe even minutes building up to that moment. You're right. Something's happening. Something's bubbling, and he or she will be able to feel it. Mm-hmm. So I agree with you. Like you can feel it too if you're vegan.
Man, it just comes down to consciousness. If you're aware that it exists, then you're tapped into the universal law.
Yeah.
If you're not aware, then it's still gonna be in your face, and you're still gonna go through things. You're still gonna go through things and not know why certain things happen, but it's definitely gonna be there.
What I also find really interesting is when you were talking about religion and how fear of God has been used to kind of control, and then how that relates or how that is kind of evolved into like social media, you said, right? Mm-hmm. And capitalism, because it's kind of, it's the same thing, right? It's like, create a God, products, and then create a fear. You got to look like this or buy this if you want to be the youngest, hottest, most successful version of yourself, and then create the fear. If you don't have that, you're insignificant, which is
100%
death, right?
100%. Like, capitalism is 100% America. You cannot live in America without being some type of capitalist. Everything is about how you make money. How can I create this product? How can I get people to follow it? It's religion. It's
totally.
Think of social media. You have followers.
It's biblical, isn't it?
Very.
You have followers. I don't have that many. But
there's a book called Biology, spelled Buyology, Biology, and it breaks down all of these tools and how to get people to purchase or adopt your brand.
Yeah.
Or follow.
I'm having a dumb moment. What's the significance of the Y instead of the I-O?
Because B-U-Y, buy. Oh.
Thanks, mate. I really need to turn vegan, man. That's how I'm living my life. Just like, what? Yeah, okay. Yeah, that makes I can see it now.
Yeah. So, and it talks about rituals, right? How everything needs to have a ritual.
Yeah.
You need a symbol. You need a product. You need people got to want to feel. It has to have a movement.
Like if you want someone to buy your shit, you got to create a ritual.
A big brand.
Yeah.
LAFC is built on this principle.
Yeah.
1,000%. If you read the book and then you look at what LAFC is, you would understand everything that I'm saying. Like
in the way they've created
it's a religion.
A religion out of their fans.
I mean, football culture in America, soccer culture is already a type of religious type of thing.
Of course.
But it's, over here it don't really exist like that, but LAFC has it.
They smashed it with that.
It's out of here. I don't care how many games they win, how many games they lose. They have the one thing that no other club has.
Yeah.
And that's that.
Because they understood. And it's so true, man. Before a ball was ever kicked, they had somehow, maybe you can shed light on how they'd somehow managed what seems like an existing community or like a conglomerate of existing communities to become die-hard, fanatic, religious fans.
Shouts to Richard Roscoe.
Yeah, big up Rich.
And
Marcus.
Marcus for sure.
All the LFC boys.
Yep. Who's really the brainchild.
Yeah.
And he's actually who put me up on Biology, the book. Rich did. And I said, so this is how the big brands do it.
Yeah.
Look at McDonald's. When you see that golden M, you know exactly what it means. You see that Nike sign, you see that Adidas, those 3 stripes, you know exactly what it is. It's just about how far they go with the movements and the culture of it. Like, people like LAFC, the Dodgers, the Raiders, people die for this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that's because the Lakers, like, you know what I mean? They built their brands on culture and religion, adopting those principles. So in America, it's built on the same thing. It's capitalism, you know. A good friend of mine says there's no such thing as good capitalism, but I guess, you know, because you have to take advantage of somebody in order to gain, and there's no way around it.
Yeah, I mean, I like, from my limited perspective, I agree with that. There's no such good thing as capitalism, but I guess you're right, man. It's like sometimes you have to play the game in order to kind of like rise up, and even if you're going to break it down. Yeah. But yeah, man, LAFC did that. They completely smashed it with everything, like the branding, the jersey, all of that. And what is your role at LAFC? You're an ambassador for LAFC. I mean, dude, you're like the ambassador for all of the LA teams, bro.
I did the theme song for the club.
Yeah.
So not only am I on the entertainment side, but I'm also a community ambassador. Do a lot of activations in the community. We collaborate on things like grocery drives and.
Well, let's talk about that, man, because I think we've just done an hour on like
on consciousness, supreme consciousness,
plus and minus, and the power of being a vegan.
Yeah.
And big up Sugar Taco as well. We got
fire! Yeah, Sugar Taco, big supporters of ThinkWatts.
Mutual friend of us. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Shout out Jessica
and Jade.
Yeah, shout out Jessica and
Jade. That's a great
spot,
spot, actually. Sugar Taco.
I actually kind of wanted to go after this, but.
Bro, have you had the fish tacos from there?
Everything.
Mate, I mean, look, again, because you're a professional vegan.
Everything.
Unlike me. I went there. We were talking about some like business stuff, but they gave me the fish tacos, and I didn't even know that was a possible thing.
Vegan fish.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? Blew my mind, man.
Fire, bro.
Yeah.
So yeah, community ambassador for LAFC. Same thing with the Clippers.
Yeah.
Theme song 2 years in a row. Community ambassador.
And right, so knowing what I now know about you when we're talking about, and I love how far we've dived into that side of you. But so I can imagine, tell me if I'm right, that once you kind of rolled out becoming the ambassador for, I don't know which club was first, let's say it's LAFC, that you were, again, using what you kind of know and your knowledge of how to operate and like plus and minus, that you were just like, I know I can probably roll this out again. Like, do you feel like you kind of made that happen, or?
After LAFC thing, number one, football is the biggest sport in the world. So.
Did you like soccer before LAFC?
No.
Bro.
Maybe I watched the World Cup a few times.
Yeah.
I wasn't like into the culture.
Yeah.
32-52 is what got me into soccer.
Yeah, of course. You look at that and you're like, what the fuck?
Seeing LAFC, the team, is like cool dudes. Shout outs, Mark Anthony K and DL, who's no longer there. That was the homie.
Mate, Latif
Blessing. Obviously Carlos, great dude. The whole squad, Diego, Rossi, I know.
Oh, we got to big up Tristan Blackman. And
Tristan Blackman for sure.
And Bradley Wright Phillips as well.
Yeah, man.
Because we just dropped a project with Puma. And
that's
man.
fire.
I need to show you. I designed like a soccer cleat.
Look at you, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Just give myself a little plug there.
Come on, man.
But Bradley, Tristan,
man?
they wore the boots.
That's fire.
They're in the film.
So it's like, once that happened, it kind of just opened the door. That video was ridiculous, number one. It's like one of my best videos I've ever done in my life.
The LFC. Yeah.
Yeah, and after that, that's when I met with the Clippers, and they were like open arms. So I did the song for them, and we shot a video that never came out. I wanted to put it out after we won the championship this year, but obviously That didn't go as
Bro, what happened? Because it's legit. I mean, I'm a big basketball fan. Soccer is my first love, but basketball, 100%. Second favourite sport, even as being a kid from like the UK, I love basketball. Clippers is my team. Will it ever happen?
next year.
Yeah.
I didn't think they were going to. Let me stop lying. I thought they were going to win it this year.
So did I.
But next year for sure. I always said that. I said if we don't win it this year, we're definitely winning it next year.
Yeah.
Because you need a year to kind of get.
But mate, I've always had this thing, right? And again, how self-centered is this? That any of this could somehow possibly be my fault. I've got a habit of following teams that will, like, what I would call in my country, bottle it. Which means
I know what you mean.
Yeah, when the pressure's on,
yeah,
you throw it away. And so I agree with you, right? But then sometimes I'm looking at the teams and I'm like, nah, it's not gelling together. It's not skill. It's nothing. It's like mental, like
it's energy.
There's a weird energy. There's weird atmosphere above the team.
You gotta be able to connect. They gotta intersect. And who knows what was going on behind closed doors? Yeah, I know very little in regards to the actual players. I got a couple, shout outs Pat Bev and Trez, and I talked to them a few times, and I talked to PG's brother and Kawhi's sister. Like, I'm cool with a lot of the core people.
Yeah.
And all good people, but it's just you just gotta jail, man. You never know what's going on out what we don't see.
Yeah, of course.
So if that's not together, it's kind of hard to really push it all the way through.
Yeah.
Who's to say that they wasn't gel? Maybe they were gel.
Yeah, maybe they weren't.
And just maybe it's timing. Maybe just this year wasn't the year.
I believe that, man. I think next year's the year. But saying that, I've been saying that since, dude, I can remember 8 years ago.
I'm a big hoop fan. This year, if we won it, I would have been like, all right. But next year, there's nothing in me that tells me we're not going to win it. Yeah. It's going to. It has to happen. It's just nothing that's stopping us next year.
I'm going to ride off your confidence. I'm with you, man. I'm with you. But bro, I thought the same. Like, what did you think when 8 years ago, and it was like Blake Griffin, Chris Paul?
I wasn't even a fan then.
Oh, really?
I wasn't really with the Clippers during Donald Sterling and all of that.
Right.
Donald Sterling was a terrible person. He's a terrible person, Yeah. And he took advantage of a lot of people. Whenever someone feels like they're a slave to an organization, that lets you know the ownership.
Yeah.
What type of organization you run it. And I don't like that, whether it's happening to women, whether it's happening, I don't care what race, ethnicity, or background you are. If you work for someone and you feel like you're a slave.
Yeah, of course.
It's terrible. So he's a terrible, when he left, and Steve
you just
Ballmer,
had a bit of a break,
you
were like, "Fuck this club."
Because I was always like, I loved Kawhi and the Spurs. Like, I loved Tim Duncan.
Yeah.
Wasn't a Spurs fan.
Yeah.
Huge Kobe fan. So I rooted for Kobe to win those championships. Who
you rooting for now?
Clippers for sure.
But I mean, now that this championship, now they're gone.
Clippers, no. I'm just
no, because that's
LA, man.
I
don't mind. I want to see LA get it now.
Same. Kobe's memory and everything like that.
You have to win it. That's what I kept saying too. I'm like, man, Kobe died this year.
Yeah.
Like, you can't lose the championship. A part of me didn't want the Lakers to lose, but a large part of me wanted the Clippers to win.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm like, now that we're not winning it, all right, Lakers, you got to do it for Kobe.
Bro, I just wanted to see that fucking final, man. The
Clippers and the Lakers?
The Clippers-Lakers,
you and the 40-something million people.
How could that be denied? I just can't believe it.
Donald Sterling stink is still on the organization.
Mate, you know what? That's what
it takes a whole year.
You could be right, because that
takes a year to shake it off. They got to go baptized. I don't know, whatever.
But dude, look, let's dig just a little bit deeper into ThinkWatts. And I've been seeing on your Instagram loads of cool, like a Nike collab.
Yeah.
And community is obviously a massive part of what you do.
Yeah.
And it's a big part of what we do at Secret
For sure,
Wars.
yeah. Shout outs to the summer camp.
The
that
academy.
Was fire.
Bro, you were the guest guest teacher / creative.
That was fire.
How
man.
was that, man? Because you know what, I didn't really get to
fire,
work
bro.
on that project too much because someone had to take care of
the kids
the boring
were
stuff.
They were like into it, bro.
Yeah.
And it was like 100 and some kids. Yeah. I'm like, yo, this is crazy. Just chilling, like, and they were all excited to develop their artistic expression. And you know, for our class, we did the Biggie. You know, the thing that was super dope, man. And we did the Juicy verse, and had people kind of. It's funny because the kids are like, "Who is this? I think I know this song. I don't know this song." I'm like, yo, like I just told my age.
You're like, oh.
But they had some dope designs. But anyhow, super dope. You know, ThinkWatts Foundation, man, and ThinkWatts. The goal is to just serve. You know, produce a large level of economic development. Help people build a career for themselves or educate them with the information they need to become wealthy. Yeah. You know, we got the financial literacy. We have the entrepreneurship. We have, you know, the arts portion of it. People are going to be able to make their own clothes with the sewing machines and the heat press. We have, I'm starting the coding program. We're going to teach C++, Java, and Python. You know, that's automatic with Google, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You'll be able to work with one of these giants. But we're teaching that in Watts. You know, we do the giveaways. We've done the teacher. Like, I've never seen anybody do it. But we did a teacher's drive.
Yeah, I saw this. It was like teacher-student drive, right?
Yeah, so one weekend we did all teachers. So we gave them, like, whiteboards and markers and, that's like, so dry erase markers, like sticky pads, wine, like things they need to like get prepared
after a long day.
Yeah.
Just like look, we know no matter what we give you, you're still gonna just be stressed the fuck out. So here's some wine.
Hell yeah. You know, printer, paper, bunch of stuff, man. Then the following weekend we did the students, where we gave them like backpacks and different things. Like, even though they don't need a backpack, but it's still cool to just feel like, you know, that's going to change any moment now. Let's just give them some type of energy.
Yeah.
I actually also helped like 1,000 kids get internet connection.
Wow.
In Watts and surrounding areas, because there was a lot of students, elementary, junior high, and high school, who didn't have internet access.
Yeah.
So I helped LAFC identify just from literally a Facebook post.
That's amazing, man.
And everybody was hitting me up like, yo, I need internet. My child doesn't have internet. We don't have internet at the house. We can't afford it. Blah, 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 blah. So I contacted LAUSD, and they did a deal with Verizon. And I got help over 1,000 students get internet.
That's incredible.
What else? Food box giveaways. That's like the most consistent thing. Huge, like large boxes of fresh produce. We've served over 16,000 families. 16,000 people have been, I guess, blessed with a food box from the foundation. We've done essential goods like detergent, dishwashing liquid, paper towels, toothpaste, different things like that. We've done those distributions. We're about to do a huge health and wellness fair. Dentists, doctors, come get your checkup, get your teeth cleaned, and you get to walk away with like holistic medicine, like herbs, like ginger pills, dandelion roots, sea moss, different things like that. Just alternative medicines for the community. Yeah. Things that they wouldn't even consider. That's actually very beneficial and effective for like high blood pressure or, cancer, diabetes, different things like that. We got a thing that we're trying to develop called Treat the Trickers. And for Halloween, COVID, a lot of kids probably won't be able to go trick-or-treating. Yeah. So we'll bring the candy to the kids.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well, so you'll be, instead of like kids going around knocking on doors,
we'll knock on their door and give it to them. Yeah. Like, hey, here goes some candy. Take it.
What the?
Right. So it's like it's always about doing stuff.
But what I'm loving, right, is that like understanding your it's genius, but very simple methodology of positive, negative. I can see how you just kind of roll out that thinking, right? Yeah. Like what's next? There's the negative. What's the positive idea? I bet you're one of those people it's like it comes to you instantly.
I mean, because it's...
Because not to stroke your ego, but because
No,
you're practiced at it. You're practiced at
yeah.
this. Like, there's the negative. What's the positive?
I just kind of look at what's not happening.
Yeah.
Like COVID, people are in the house, they're going crazy, they're sick, maybe they're not sick, they want to go out, they haven't had a chance to go to the doctor or the dentist because they're afraid to go out.
Teachers don't have their
Teachers don't
fucking wine.
Right.
The bottles
Teachers
of
are
wine.
stressed out. They haven't been able to go shopping. They're not going to be in their classrooms. So their paycheck is probably being cut. So they have to do this distance learning. They don't have any, usually teachers have the students ask the parents to donate stuff. So since the students aren't coming to the classroom, they can't ask to donate stuff.
Right.
So now it's like they have to spend their own money on things that the school should be providing them with, but they're not. So I was like, who need it? We do. I just figure out what's the need. I'll provide it. I don't need anything in return. I don't care about none of that. I just want to help as many people as possible. If you remember me, great. If you don't, I don't care. I don't care.
Mate, I love that, man. There's so I subscribe to so much of your kind of like your outlook, bro.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, Jay.
Yeah,
Appreciate it, man.
Mate, maybe that's a good place to call it. But actually, before we do that, what's the next things that you're working on, or is there any like particular thing that you want to shout out?
So I'm about to open up a stadium. No, I'm just playing. It's like, of course you are.
Bro, it won't be long, man.
Can
you come and work at my little soccer club? It's Harvard Heights FC. I promise you that.
For real?
Yeah.
So
let's make it an MLS club in the next 5 years, and we can tie in I'm all about give backs as well. I want to support communities, so we can do that.
About that.
Yeah.
You're about to be like, of course. So next year we're launching ThinkWatts FC.
Really?
Yeah. Youth.
Bro, we're
youth.
gonna have to play each other.
100. You'll smash me. You'll smash.
Well, yeah, we'll be adults playing against your kids. Like slide tackling 12-year-olds.
Right. So it'll start like the first year. We're going to start with like 4, 5, and 6 years old, and it's going to be straight performance and skill. We're actually going to like bring in coaches from like France, Milan, and we're going to bring in the best.
Mate, let's be honest. Your team within 3 months is just going to blow mine out. What I've done in like 2 years, you're going to do in 2 months. I'm just going to be like,
no
for
way.
fuck's sake.
No, I mean, I don't know, man. The goal is just no kid has to pay to play on the team.
Yeah, amazing.
I just want to bring the culture of football to America the right way and teach. We're going to be affiliates of LAFC Academy. I'm also going to working on a partnership with Angel City, the women's team. And so I'm just trying to create a pathway.
Wait, what Angel City is the women's team for LAFC?
For the women's professional league.
Okay.
Angel City is the LA team.
Right. Oh, okay.
And I think in 2 years is when it becomes official. They'll have their first games. And I'm going to partner with them on the women's side. I got a niece who's a avid soccer player. Shouts out Yanai. So I just want to create pathways and avenues that I can help people that, grew up in places like I did, that look like me or look like relatives of mine, and be able to create these opportunities and resources through relationships. And that's the major goal. So we got ThinkWatts FC. That's going to come.
Well, mate, you let me know if you need any help on ThinkWatts FC.
For sure.
Because I am British. Football's in my blood.
This is your world.
This is my world, mate. Don't go to Marcus and Rich LAFC. They probably...
They're born here. They don't know.
Yeah, they don't know, mate. Just come to me, man. I'll help you out.
I got you. ThinkWatts HQ is a huge baby of mine. That's going to be huge.
Is that still being built?
I got like a last...
it's not open yet.
It's not open. January 1st is when we want to open doors. I got to raise like another $150K for like the build out and everything.
And that's going to be like the hub for all the stuff you're talking about, right? So people just come and learn.
Oh, yeah. That's where it's going to be. That's where everybody get all of the nuggets from.
Yeah.
And I'm developing something with the Dodgers now.
Of course. And then what's the ice hockey team?
The Kings and
the ambassador for the ice hockey team, yeah.
That's next. So yeah, it's a lot of dope things in the pipeline, man. Like I said, ThinkWatts HQ is my baby. That's what I really want to get off the ground. Going to continue to do all of the activations. I got a few small tech companies that I've been giving shares in.
Terry was talking about you and your shares.
Yeah.
Maybe he saw something where you're like telling the kids like, invest.
Yeah, invest. Intellectual property.
Yeah.
It's all about that, man. I got it's called Mixer or Engage 2.0, and we'll dig a little deeper once it's a little finalized.
Yeah.
But it's I'm entering into the tech space now. More to come, man. Invest. Invest.
Mate, definitely. I mean, bro, I can imagine there's a lot more to come. So when you come back on the podcast, we can talk about the like holographic version of Stix that's
can we create
taking
that?
over. Yeah, man.
Let's do it. I'm serious.
Yeah. Well, we're working on virtual reality art stuff.
Sick.
We just throw you in there.
Done. The crazy thing is I have a render of ThinkWatts HQ that's like AR.
You need yourself in the render.
That's what we haven't did that yet. So you're ahead of the curve. So
you'll be there, stood there, and you can just pick whatever LA sports club jersey
that I want to wear instantly.
But then when the Kings one comes up, it's like, not yet. You got to unlock it.
Come on, dog. Let's do it.
All right, sick. Mate, thanks so much for coming on, man. That was that time just flew by, and I feel like I've meditated or something.
You might like not have to walk no more. You could probably float.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm definitely being vegan for the next
2
or 3 days.
7 hours.
Thanks, all right, man. Mate. Nice one, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.